what the government's going to be searching for is somehow to stimulate business to invest. They're predicted in the June quarter business investment will fall by 18%. I think household consumption by 16% and dwelling investment by 18%. So these are not good numbers. And somehow you have to resuscitate the economy. Now, of course, Labor is running around saying, oh, no, you're going to have to extend JobKeeper. That's more important. And I think even Jim Chalmers said, we don't want the same policies that got us in this mess in the first place. But none of the government's policies got in this mess in the first place. It was a pandemic. And then, a decision to close down the economy, I guess, which the government, did. But all governments have done the same thing. So they're heading towards a budget surplus. We should have been talking about the budget this morning, one day after the old budget day. And just as I was waiting for you to come online, Pete, an alert came up for what was going to be our budget morning event, where we had about 500 people coming along, and we'd call it the budget of the Roaring Twenties. And that was the idea, because that was obviously put together in January when no one was expecting this sort of thing to happen. So I think what the government's trying to do, stimulate investment, is really sensible. But I also would throw this in. Labor's not wrong in saying JobKeeper needs to be sustained, only if it needs to be sustained, because business need consumers with money in their pocket to do the investing. So there are two sides to the same coin, and that coin is all about creating a growing economy.
Speaking of a growing economy, we've got a few things that might be going backwards. First of all, we've got barley, and now we've got beef, and it's all part of our beef biff with China at the moment. I mean, how much of an effect could that have if they stop taking our barley? That would have huge consequences.
Yeah, look. Obviously, there's a simmering potential trade war, and it really didn't start with us, but we've been caught in the crossfire, and we ganged up and supported Donald Trump in asking for an objective inquiry into China's behaviour in relation to the virus and the potential cover-up and the actual even why it actually occurred. Now, clearly, China's cheesed off at the fact that we are supporting Donald Trump. And there will be, you're right, serious economic implications. And look, the irony is, this is not the time with the potential of a Great Depression, which I think we're currently avoiding through great government stimulus and also Reserve Bank and central bank actions right around the world. But Donald Trump has an election to win. And so in a sense, he's played the Trump card at a time because he wants to win an election. But seriously, it raises the question marks whether it's good to have a president who's both entrepreneurial, who's owned a casino, and is prepared to roll the dice for a really big payoff at the wrong time. We don't need to have this battle with China now. Once the world economy is back on its feet, that's when I think we have to get stuck into China. But at the moment, we're vulnerable, without a doubt.
Why has our stock market lagged the US?
Well, for a number of reasons. The US has unbelievable companies called Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, that's Google, of course, Facebook, all these Netflix, all these companies are sensational and they're driving the indexes along, where our major index drivers are the banks. The banks have been dragged into the rescue program where they've been asked to defer loans and all those sorts of things. So that's really held us back, compared to the US. Apart from that, even the rising dollar, which is a sign that we're heading in the right direction. A rising dollar is not good for our stock market as well. But if I had to pinpoint one major reason, I would say it was the impact on the banks. And by the way, American banks are doing well. I think Goldman Sachs is down about 25%, JP Morgan, similar numbers. And that's because the banks are a part of the rescue program. We're not as a diverse economy, and when we don't have as a diverse stock market, I think that's part of the reason why we haven't come back to the same extent as the Americans. I think also Americans are by nature more optimistic than Australians.